Hello there and welcome to News Tonight this Wednesday, the 20th day of December 2017. Jonan Opori will be with us on sign language desk shortly. I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma. Let's get started straight away. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and his host, President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya, have today held official discussions on a review of progress being made in the East African Community integration projects, including the multi-billion-dollar standard gauge railway project. Uganda and Kenya are committed to a seamless connectivity of the SGR, which will cost Uganda $12.8 billion for the entire 1,724 kilometers SGR network in Uganda from Malaba to Nimule, Vura and Mpondwe. The president is on a one-day official visit to Kenya at the invitation of Uhuru Kenyatta. During a bilateral meeting held at State House, Nairobi, the two presidents discussed mutual cooperation between the two countries.
The president is on an official visit to Kenya at the invitation of President Uhuru Kenyatta. During a bilateral meeting held at State House, Nairobi, the two leaders also exchanged their views on the situation in Somalia and the African Union mission, AMISOM, the peace process in South Sudan, and the situation in Burundi.
The world is not safe if Somalia is not stable. It is just as simple as that. And it doesn't matter in which capital of the world you are, because Al-Qaeda can reach there. So you need to hit them where they are training from, and this is Somalia.
Uganda is one of the highest troop contributing countries in Somalia under the AMISOM. The two heads of state also discussed the economic partnership agreement between the European Union and the East African Community. President Museveni, as the East African chairman, recently led a regional delegation to Brussels, the seat of the European Union, to discuss the issues of the economic partnership agreement and the sanctions on Burundi. The two leaders later reiterated their commitment to strengthening the bilateral cooperation between Kenya and Uganda, as well as deepening the East African integration for development and prosperity. President Museveni and his delegation was later hosted to a State House luncheon at State House, Nairobi. After the visit, the president returned back home. At Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, President Museveni was seen off by Ambassador Dr. Amina Mohamed, the Cabinet Secretary and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Kenya, among others. I'm Dennis Blair Kalanzi in Kampala.
Thanks, Blair, for that report there. Now, the Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, has saluted church leaders from South Sudan for championing issues related to enhancing peace and security in their country. He said the church is the voice of the people and the population has got confidence in it. The Premier called upon the church leaders to continue playing their leadership role in the community and also pray for peace and stability to be restored in South Sudan. The Prime Minister made the remarks today while meeting a delegation of religious leaders from South Sudan at the office of the Prime Minister here in Kampala.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, has met a delegation of religious leaders from South Sudan to discuss issues pertaining to South Sudan peace processes and the South Sudanese refugees in Uganda. The Premier said restoration of peace in South Sudan is not only beneficial to South Sudan, but also to Uganda and other neighboring countries, adding that peace will promote development in the region. Rugunda noted that the government of Uganda is optimistic about South Sudan's ability to restore peace and stability in the country and thus called for consolidated efforts in the process.
Not only beneficial to the people of South Sudan, it's beneficial to Uganda. it is beneficial to the region. It promotes trade. It promotes investment. Some of the people want to come and invest in Uganda and say, we hear that, these people in Europe and America, they are not sure where Sudan is, where Uganda is. So when they hear there is fighting in some remote area of South Sudan, they know there is fighting in Uganda. So therefore, it is really to clean the image. In addition to ensuring that our people are peaceful, but also to clean the image of Africa. So that our friends who want to bring in their money, invest in our respective countries, have no roadblocks. An investment in South Sudan will ultimately be an investment that will help Uganda. That will create jobs.
He also saluted the delegation for visiting refugee camps and said that Uganda will continue to pursue its open-door refugee policy since no one chooses the status of a refugee. Rugunda noted that Uganda enjoys good relations with South Sudan and all its leaders, and also promised to convey the delegation's message to President Museveni.
You enjoy the confidence of the people. The population may have a question mark about political leaders, but normally they have confidence in the church leaders. So I am happy that you as church leaders, the voice of the people, united people, you are indeed championing very legitimate points, the points you have enumerated and put in this document, which indeed will be conveyed to President Museveni. So in a nutshell, the issues they have raised, we will look at them as a government, President Museveni will look at them, and will be helpful in his interaction with other leaders.
He pledged Uganda's continued support in the peace process of South Sudan. The chairperson of South Sudan Council of Churches and also the leader of the delegation team, Reverend Peter Guy, thanked the government of Uganda for accommodating refugees from South Sudan and requested that Uganda continues to support the country in ensuring that peace is restored. He also thanked the Prime Minister, Dr. Rakana Rugunda, for giving them a message of hope in regard to restoring peace in South Sudan. The General Overseer of the Pentecostal Church in South Sudan, Reverend Isaiah Dau, requested that His Excellency, President Museveni, mobilizes the East African Community member states to draw a clear roadmap to end conflict in South Sudan.
We want to thank the Prime Minister and the government of Uganda for hosting 1.something million South Sudanese who carry nothing when they cross border. But now they find shelter in Uganda. And all of us who have come to see them in the camps and other places, we are happy the way even the host community has taken care of our people.
The delegation also visited refugee camps in West Nile and thanked host communities for taking care of the refugees. Doreen Asasra, UBC News.
To the news of the day now, and of course it pertains to what has been happening at the Parliament, and of course members of Parliament have voted to lift the controversial presidential age limit. Now 317 legislators, mainly from the ruling NRM party and some independents, voted against 97 votes for those opposed to the amendment, of course, from the opposition. Now this means that Parliament can now go ahead to amend Article 102B of the Constitution that seeks to scrap the presidential age limit. Now, our parliamentary reporters Onyango Jackson and Aguta Philip have been following the proceedings at the parliamentary buildings and now report.
317 members of parliament have voted for the amendment of Article 102B of the 1995 Constitution as amended.
Madam Speaker, I vote yes.
Those who were against the amendment garnered 97 votes.
Honourable members, this is the outcome of the vote. Honourable members, honourable members, there were two abstentions, 97 against, 317 in favour.
To the surprise, over 20 NRM members voted for no against the expected NRM decision, and independents also voted for yes, contrary to the expected party affiliation.
Especially the young people. And on behalf of all the ghetto people, I vote no.
Some of the NRM members who voted against the amendment include Connie Galuwango, woman member of parliament from Mpale, Senyonga Muyanza of Mukono South, workers representative Sam Luomochi, Mbiji, woman member of parliament, Sarah Temlanda, and Temtai Evelyn.
I vote no. Uganda, to me, I vote no. On behalf of people of Kasambia County and Mubende at large, I vote a big no and vote. Madam Speaker and colleagues, on behalf of the people of Kubi municipality, I vote no.
There's no way saying I voted contrary to the party's decision because the members, my constituency is for entirely NRM. How come they never said touch and they said don't touch? So the problem goes to the members because had I changed their views, then they would have turned against me.
What next for NRM MPs who voted against?
That I don't have all the 305 members who are NRM. So I had to lobby, I had to cross over to the independents.
Meanwhile, a section of independent MPs who were expected to vote against the age limit bill, to the surprise of the House, voted in favor. A renowned Museveni critic and Kitgum municipality member of parliament, BTS Anwar, voted in favor.
Madam Speaker, I vote yes. I vote yes.
Philip Aguta and Onyango Jackson reporting.
Some surprises there, of course, in Parliament. Those that were expected to vote no coming up to vote yes. Now, former defense attaché to Uganda's embassy in Moscow, Brigadier Paul Lokech, has been named the new contingent commander, Uganda People's Defense Forces in Somalia. He takes over from Brigadier Kayanja Muhanga, who has completed his tour of duty. Now, the handover ceremony was witnessed by Major General Peter Erweru, the UPDF commander of land forces. Now, this will be Brigadier Lokech's second tour of duty in Somalia, having served in the same capacity in 2011-2012 period. Samuel Senono reports.
Brigadier Paul Lokech has been named the new contingent commander of the Uganda People's Defense Forces in Somalia. Speaking at the handover ceremony attended by senior UPDF officers, Major General Erweru hailed Brigadier Muhanga and his team for a job well done and urged the incoming contingent commander to focus on building the capacity of the Somali National Security Forces ahead of AMISOM's exit.
We need to focus on the Somali National Security Forces. For it is only the Somalis who can bring everlasting peace and stability in this country. Nobody else can achieve that. However powerful you may have, we have made our contribution. We have made extraordinary sacrifices. And surely, to me, we have accomplished our mission of creating an enabling environment for the Somalis to liberate their country. We need, therefore, to focus more on getting the Somalis do their part. They need to lead the process. You need to get them moving forward. For the situation now dictates that the Somalis must really
lead this process. They must own the process, maybe.
Major General Ereru said it was time to help Somalis take the lead in the stabilization process. The process of handing over security responsibility to Somalia's security forces has commenced following a resolution by the United Nations Security Council to downsize ununiformed personnel serving under AMISOM to a maximum of 21,626 officers by the end of this year.
By the end of 31st of December of this year, we should have cut down at least 281 troops. All of us as troop contributing countries must cut out 1,000. And it's the same number that has to be cut next year. So, arising from this, we've conducted our own assessment and we'll be making adjustments in our deployment, but without losing the gains that we have made. We'll work hard. We'll work closely with the Somalia National Security Forces so that we support.
Brigadier Lokech has served as Uganda's defense attaché to Russia and also as the commander of the UPDF 2nd Division. In his first stint, Brigadier Lokech commanded Battle Groups 8 and 9, which are credited for ejecting Al-Shabaab militants from Mogadishu in 2011. Major General Ereru hailed the Somali population and international partners for their support and reiterated UPDF's commitment to the mission. Brigadier Lokech takes over as UPDF's contingent commander in Somalia at the time when Al-Shabaab sleeper cells within Somalia are gradually gaining ground, and in the last 4 months, the country has faced numerous IED attacks. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
And all the best to Brigadier Lokech there. Now let's shift our attention back to Parliament, where members of Parliament from both the ruling NRM and the opposition have expressed divergent views in as far as cessation talks of northern Uganda are concerned. Now this follows cessation talks resulting from a proposal by Aswa County legislator Regan Okumu during the presidential age limit amendment debate on Tuesday evening. Now, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Henry Okello Oryem describes the talks as very unfortunate that could have negative implications on the country's security. Here is our reporter, Henry Okrot.
At the peak of the presidential age limit amendment debate on Tuesday afternoon, Aswa County Member of Parliament Regan Okumu hinted on possible secession of northern Uganda. This, he said, in the event that Parliament went ahead to amend Article 102B of the Constitution that highlights age limit of the President. However, the proposal did not rub some members of Parliament the right way.
The northern Ugandan people do not support secession. The northern people want peace and security after many years of suffering. Nobody in Uganda supports secession. I can confidently tell you that we will not permit any sort of secession to that part of Uganda. In any case, even Eastern Uganda, Western Uganda, and Southern Uganda cannot succeed.
Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Henry Okello Oryem, who also doubles as Member of Parliament for Chua East County in Kitgum District, describes that talk as unfortunate.
My appeal for them is that they should stop that kind of statement. They should tell the truth to the people that there is no room for secession and they will not encourage secession, and that Uganda will remain one country come Monday.
He says the implication to the country's security could be negative, a sentiment Army Representative General Eli Tumwine agrees with.
Because it deters investors from coming to invest in the north, it deters investors from coming to invest in Uganda. We are losing opportunities because we are creating fear and intimidation amongst the community.
The sovereignty of Uganda is known. Secession issues have caused problems in the Rwenzori region, which we have heard about, and other areas and other countries. So it's a serious matter, but we shall see how when it comes.
I wish as leaders, elected leaders, they'll be more responsible. Your elected leaders, be not only responsible to your constituency, but also be responsible to your country.
Even when Kirak South County Member of Parliament Gilbert Olanya insists on the proposal, his Usuk counterpart Peter Ogwang has an appeal for him.
People didn't have a strong reason for seceding. They had a very minor reasons. of corruptions and other things. But this time, tampering with the Constitution. The Constitution is a document that governs the country. This time, we are not going to sit under that. We are going to be so bold, and we shall start the mobilization immediately.
Some of us still mourn our children from Teso who are taken by LRA. And for him to come and begin spreading malicious propaganda, malicious agitation for secession is not helping this country.
If they exercise their rights by voting and supporting this article, I am telling you, immediately we shall start mobilizing for people to sign, we shall go for referendum, and we shall defend this country.
What we should be doing as leaders is to build and unite the people. And I want to say this, we shall not accept and we shall not tolerate any leader who is going to talk about secession in Uganda. Not now, not tomorrow, not in the future.
These concerns came as Parliament entered day 3 of debate on the removal of the presidential age limit, with members on the floor expressing contending views.
This gentleman said, Right Honourable Speaker, that his president is about to be caught up by this age limit. And he was looking at his president, Dr. Kizza Besigye, leading this country. That is what this young man said. Please, I'm reporting from my constituency. And then he said, because of that, please go and amend.
I have 3 divisions in my jurisdiction. The first meeting I held comprised of all the councillors together with opinion leaders. They said no.
I want to say that I'm touching the constitution with no gloves. So join me.
The House, which was adjourned for 30 minutes, would resume at 2 p.m. for an open vote on the matter. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to assure this.
Cessation talks, of course, they are being rejected outright by some members of parliament from northern Uganda and some, of course, from neighboring Soroti areas. We are going to take a short break, but we'll return with much more. Do stay with us. Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight. John Opori is on sign language, and I am Edward Rukidi Kijenangoma. Moving on now, let's shift our attention and look at the health sector, where Uganda AIDS Commission has warned Ugandans against exchanging HIV/AIDS as a gift during this festive season. Now, the Acting Director General, Dr. Nelson Musoba, says that many people have fallen victim to HIV/AIDS infection, especially during such seasons. Now, he was addressing the media here in Kampala, as we hear in this report filed by Nawonga Susan.
Reports indicate a gap in the HIV/AIDS intervention rate among youth and women. In 2016, a total of the 52,000 new infections were registered, with the majority being youth, especially girls, and 4,600 HIV infections registered among children below 15 years.
Among the 28,000 AIDS-related deaths that were experienced in 2016, 60% were among men. The general public, therefore, is reminded that in sharing gifts among our loved ones, we shouldn't share HIV, but instead demonstrate our love by avoiding risky sexual behaviors.
The report also indicates a 44% infection rate registered among young people of ages 15 to 24. This, according to Dr. Nelson Musoba, is attributed to bad habits by young people and failure to control their excitement. He has therefore called upon young people to demonstrate high levels of consciousness this festive season.
Drink responsibly and in moderation. The Uganda AIDS Commission, therefore, is calling upon members of the public to avoid engaging in risk sexual behaviors that can increase their chances of getting or spreading HIV during this festive season.
Out of the 28,000 AIDS-related deaths experienced in 2016, 60% were men.
Be sensitive to what we say to each other during this holiday. Let's be tolerant to each other, especially when it comes to HIV, not to discriminate, but most importantly, to speak with each other and to support each other in this time of joy and merrymaking. And to conclude, let's just make sure we do not give each other the gift of HIV.
The country director, UNAIDS Karusa Kiragu, has called upon young people to abstain and the general public to play positive roles towards ending AIDS in Uganda in the 90 goals. Susan Naonga reporting.
Very, very important that young men between the ages of 15 and 26 take very, very good care of themselves, especially during this festive season, as indeed you tend to get excited and forget about your health and future. Let's move to Kasese district now, specifically to Bukonzo West, where the Member of Parliament for Bukonzo West constituency, Godfrey Kotsabi, has donated a brand new ambulance in a bid to improve service delivery in the health sector of his constituency. Now, while donating the ambulance, Kotsabe recounted the number of lives that were lost when Kasese district was hit by cholera. We'll have more on that in this report.
It was a moment of jubilation as residents of Bukonzo received a donation of an ambulance from their area Member of Parliament, Godfrey Kotsabe. Kotsabe says this is aimed at facilitating the transport system of the constituency that has for long been a thorn in the flesh. Witnessing the handover was the leader of opposition, who also doubles as the woman Member of Parliament for Kasese district, Honorable Winnie Kiza. The brand new ambulance donation is aimed at improving service delivery in the health sector of the Bukonzo East constituency, Kasese district.
Machine begins to work, it will be able to transport mothers who are going to deliver to the health facilities, and this will go a long way in reducing maternal mortality. We are very, very grateful.
Dokas Kimono and Moses Mutabali, UBC News.
To the courtroom now, where court has suspended the hearing of a case in which a section of members of parliament were suspended from the House until the 28th day of December 2017. Now, this was after the respondents' legal team, led by Mr. Biragwa, requested for more time to prepare to respond since they were notified late. We have more on that in this report.
6 members of parliament were suspended from the House on allegations of misconduct, ran into courts of law seeking for redress on grounds that they were being denied their right of representation of their various constituencies. Led by the legal service provider, Salongo Elias Lukwago, the embattled members of parliament, who include Semuju Nganda, Gerard Karuhanga, Alan Sewanyana, Mubaraka Munyagwa, Odur Jonathan, and Akol Anton say the Speaker's decision to suspend them was illegal, and as such, they want court to overturn the Speaker's decision and recall them in the August House for them to perform their constitutional mandate. However, presiding over the matter, Lady Justice Margaret Oumo Oguli directed that the hearing of the matter would only be possible if both the petitioning side and the respondents were present in court. Accordingly, court summoned both respondents, in this case, the Honorable Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General, to tender their response at 2.
That summons must be served on the Speaker, that is Right Honorable Kadaka, to appear here at afternoon, in the afternoon at 2 p.m.
However, on turning up at the Parliament premises to deliver the summons for the Speaker, both Medad Lubega Segona and Wilfred Niwagaba were arrested and taken to the Central Police Station.
I'm not pushing anyone. Okay, let us move. Let's move aside.
However, When court resumed in the afternoon, the session was held in the chambers where media was barred from attending. But according to the petitioner's lawyer, Salongo Elias Lukwago, the case was adjourned to the 28th day of December to allow the respondents prepare. Dorcas Kimono and Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Uganda's approach to the refugee situation has gotten another thumbs up following the Bidi Bidi Goat Talent Festival. Now, the festival, organized within the 5 zones of arguably Uganda's largest refugee settlement, was characterized by music, dance and drama that unearthed talent hitherto unknown.
The refugee settlement in Yumbe district is now awash with musical ballads. The best news isn't the ballads per se, but the fact that the lyrics to these songs are a creation of the refugees, courtesy of a talent search organized by United Nations Refugee Agency.
The dancers in this place and the singers and the actors, and it's our role as young artists to empower more young artists to create awareness and to tell stories through our performing arts.
The Bidi Bidi Got Talent Festival started at zonal level with over 100 groups that incorporated refugees and locals, and has climaxed with just 2 groups in the finale.
Grand finals for Bidi Bidi Got Talent. Bidi Bidi Got Talent was a project brought up to support the community, basically the youth, because we saw the youth were not having a lot of activities to keep them busy. So we began up with on around 2050 up to 26. We had a final zonal competitions where people were performing.
There was competition in drama and music that climaxed with the respective winners earning a right to record their works with the lead farm in Kampala. Bidi Bidi Refugee Settlement Commandant Alex Tumwesigire lauds the effort of participants and promises government support towards talent and education for the refugees.
Give them an opportunity to get more training, to polish their skill, and then they can be able to get opportunity to showcase their talent where in places like craft talent shows, and then they can earn something from that, because that builds them to the main
refugees. United Nations Refugee Agency promises to spread this talent search across all settlements in the country, with a grand finale earning the winner a lifelong dream. This report was compiled by John Barnes Sentamu.
Refugees, they are showing off their talent in different areas. Now, the midterm evaluation report on implementation of the establishment of the Samuel and Dong of model villages in Impigi district remains threatened with measures to sustain it due to gaps that need to be addressed. Now, this is contained in a report compiled by Dr. Wanika Godfrey that were released before stakeholders who converged at Protea Hotel here in Kampala.
The establishment of the Samolndong village as a model adopted from a development paradigm used in the Democratic Republic of Korea in the 1970s is on implementation in Impigi district. Korea International Cooperation Agency is implementing the project, running in 6 sub-counties and Impigi Town Council. The project is a partnership between the government of Uganda, Impigi local government and the community. While presenting the findings, Dr. Wanika, who worked together with Moses Kasolo and Besweri Mobende, noted that lack of technical guidance and funds are a threat to the Samolndong village model.
And one of the key lessons is that if district officials are facilitated, they actually provide extension services. Capacity building through training in agricultural technology. Of course, people are desirous to do agriculture, but they didn't know what to do, meaning that it was a felt need for them to change their lives.
Impigi District Chairman Peter Clever Mutuluza, who appreciated Koika for the project, says the community practice, also similar to Bulungi, is good, and that his council is to enact an ordinance to compel people in the district to work together for the benefit of all society.
And we are going to make sure that at least in Impigi where this
ESMB has started from, really embrace it, and even if the South Koreans have left, we shall continue.
Key stakeholders in the Samondong village implementation model that include the government of Uganda attended the dissemination workshop.
The USMB project is just one of such projects. Koika will therefore continue to support government of the Uganda, especially in the area of rural development.
But finance is committed and the government is committed to meet this co-funding obligation. So we want really to assure our friends from Koika that this is something we're dealing with and we're going to deal with it conclusively.
The establishment of the Samondong model of villages in Uganda is a 3-year project running in Jinipij district in support of better livelihoods for people working under the principles of self-help, diligence, and cooperation. Banonya Cosmos and Patrick Mugerwa, UBC News.
Now let's look at issues that are affecting people living with disabilities, and we specifically go to Mukono municipality, where people living with disabilities and the elderly in Mukono municipality have celebrated early Christmas during an event that coincided with this year's Day of Old Age and Disability for the municipality.
The undisabled persons in Mukono municipality have created a standstill in town with a march past as they celebrated the Day of the Old Age. It was a joyful sight, with the marching punctuated by handing over of disability aids and clothing to the disabled at the mayor's gardens in Mukono. Mukono Mayor George Fred Kajimu advises the elderly and people with disabilities to be assertive and bold in pursuit for their rights.
That all people with disabilities can come out, because if they remain where they are, people will not understand, will not recognize them, will not realize there's so many people that need to be assisted. So when they come out, at least the whole community will notice. And apart from that, I think when they actually come out, they realize it's not only one person, but many people. So what we need to do now is to get all people with disabilities to be together, and we find what we can do for them. How can we help them?
Disabilities Councillor Ramadan Lubowa has given reasons for the celebrations. Samuel Kimuli, a public stand water vendor, decries neglect accorded to PWDs by community leaders that distance them even from government's poverty reduction avenues. This report was compiled by John Barnes Sentamu for UBC News.
Welcome back. Let's talk business now. And the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has issued 3 location licenses to over 500 small-scale artisanal miners in Mubende, signaling the resumption of small mining operations in the district. Now, the licenses were awarded to Kayonza Chitumbi Miners Association that covers an estimated area of 13.5 hectares at Tibukuya sub-county in Mubende district to mine gold.
Gold miners in Mubende district are in jubilation following resumption of artisanal gold mining after 3 months of inaction.
Tugenda kutuula tugenda ku marketing federation buli wamu eggwanga lyonna tusobole okulaba nga tuteekateeka abalongo omulama gwa kuteekateeka mining sector nga tubayambako namwe nga mutuyambako.
government banned mining activities 3 months ago to rid the sector of illegal unregistered miners and foreigners. According to the Minister of Energy's Director of Geological Survey and Mines, Zakaria Baguma, the location license prohibits the use of mechanized operations, crushing and mauling, use of mercury and cyanide.
We are saying right from this gold in Mubende, they started mining gold in Mubende in 1930s. They were not using mercury, they were not using cyanide. They were using a hoe, pickaxe and a pan. And the water and the swamps were clean. But today, people are even fearing to cook using the water from the swamp. People are fearing even to drink water from the borehole.
This follows the registration and formalization of operations by the Kayonza Chitumbi Miners Association with the help of government. Agnes Alaba, the commissioner in charge of mines, advised the miners to quicken the process of acquiring a mining lease by fulfilling the obligations as required by the Mining Act of 2003.
Make sure that when the application comes to us, you have acquired surface right of all the people who are within your application license for mining lease. That's clear.
One has to carry out a feasibility study, acquire surface rights from landowners, and undertake an environmental impact assessment approved by NEMA to acquire a mining license. Samuel Garandi, UBC News.
The Director Madada Foundation is holding an 8-day skilling camp that's aimed at training participants in practical skills in the different areas of coffee chain development. The foundation's Chief Executive Officer, Haji Sulaiman Madada, says they are focusing on creating more jobs and sustainable income through on-job training, as well as changing public attitude, especially that of the youth.
The Private Sector Foundation and Madada Foundation Uganda have agreed to enhance entrepreneurship skills among coffee farming communities. The director, Madada Foundation Sulaiman Madada, says government through Private Sector Foundation Uganda and Madada Foundation have committed close to 595 million towards the initiative.
Here is that you have mixed enterprises in a small, within a limited space, and you can earn money from various sources. The coffee, which is our core, will take a bit of time, but you need food security and intermediary incomes in order for you to keep quality coffee. But it's also important that we are looking at children. During these holidays, we want to ensure that children understand farming right away from their childhood.
The National Agribusiness Association, Aidan Mirimu Kagwa, advised coffee farmers to buy planting materials from certified nursery operators for better yields.
There is an increase in number of people planting, and people have come to appreciate the price of coffee and the value addition of coffee.
This was during an education skills training on enhancement of the coffee value chain by Madada Foundation with Bugere Coffee Farmers and Traders Cooperative Society in Kayunga District. Annette Nambiro compiled this report.
To other news pertaining to business now, and annual changes show that the average input prices at the whole construction sector increased by 1.6% for the year ending November 2017 compared to 0.1% for the year ended November 2016. Now, this and more consumer trends were disclosed at the release of the construction sector indices and product and producer price index by Uganda Bureau of Standards for the months of October and November 2017.
The producer prices for manufactured goods and utilities for the year ending November 2017 stood at 4.4% compared to 6.8% reported during the year ended October 2017. This represents a 2.5% point drop from that recorded during the year ended October 2017. The main contributors are cited as manufacturing subsector, which declined by 4.0%, utility subsector, which declined to 8.2% from 10.2%.
The drivers for the decline in the annual
Input prices are soft drink, mineral water, and other bottled water that declined to 11.1%. Then the spirit, which dropped to 13.9% on an annual basis. Basic metal also recorded a decline to 19.1% for the year ending November, compared to 22.2% recorded for the year ending October.
On the other hand, the construction sector indices shows a 1.6% increase. The indices shows the relative level of prices of a given basket of construction goods and services in each time period compared to their price in the best period.
If I was to buy a given basket of inputs to construction in November 2017, I should have paid price in money terms by 1.6% more what I would have paid in November 2016. And that is simply how we can interpret indices. One thing to note is that here we are taking actual indices, and the movement of the graph shows how the indices have played across time. So if you look at November 2016 to November 2017, you may notice that there's a general trend of the indices going up, meaning that the prices on average were all going up.
The average input prices at the world sector level increased by 1.6% in the year ending November 2017 compared to the same time last year. Dennis Igor and Charlotte Amuge for UBC Business.
UBC Sport, and we begin with football, where Uganda Revenue Authority, URA FC, has parted ways with head coach Ibrahim Kiria, replacing him with Paul Nkata. Now, the sacking of Kiria, together with his technical team, comes after a 1-1 draw with Mbarara City. Emon Ngabo reports.
After a 1-1 draw against Mbarara City at Nambole Stadium, URA called for an emergency meeting, terminating the services of head coach Ibrahim Kiria, together with his technical staff that includes his first assistant James Odoch and goalkeeping coach Sadiq Wassa. They were all sacked. In a statement published, Paul Nkata replaces Kiria, deputized by Hamza Kalanzi, and indeed, they took the team through light drills. Wednesday morning, URA had registered only 6 wins in 14 games, something that the top management refers to as poor performance, given the target set and currently in 5th position. Coach Nkata will mark his second spell at URA after a successful career in the Kenyan Premier League. Ngabo Emon, reporting for UBC TV.
And finally, there has been tight competition on the track at the 17th edition of the Inter-University Games and Sports Competition at Ndeje University. Now, our reporter has details on all happenings on the penultimate day of the event that attracted 17 institutions.
Uganda national team runner, but now on the track for Kampala University, Halima Nakai, has celebrated a deserved victory in the 800-meter final at the 7th Association of Uganda University Sports Competition. The event, hosted at Ndeje University in Luweero district, has attracted the creme de la creme of Uganda sports arena, with the 800-meter final, for instance, including seasoned runners like Dorcas Ajoko. Competition in swimming was temporarily halted as organizers sorted out mercenary issues, but it later provided some of the best thrills, especially from Kampala International University.
Universities have gone an extra mile of employing people who are qualified. People have gone abroad for various coaching courses. So the standards are really high, I must say.
With action winding down on Thursday, Ndeje University is still in pole position with excellent display in taekwondo, woodball and karate, but must that with imperious displays in netball, volleyball and basketball if it's to retain its title. Ngabo Emon, reporting for UBC TV.
And we finally come to the end of news tonight. Thank you so much for having kept us company. Jonan Opori was on sign language, and I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma, wishing you a good night.
Coming soon on UBC.
It all looks serene, but lurking beneath the calm is deep fear. And the water's edge here is a dangerous place. Over 100 people have been eaten by crocodiles, mostly fishermen and children. This community is living in fear.
Mwana wange gonya yalia na yalia mwana wange namala yonna.
Tusanga ngoye ku musenyu oba tusanga ebigatto nga byokka bye bisigadde ku nyanja.
Sasa saa hii sina hata mtoto, niko peke yangu na watoto wengine. Sasa niko na huzuni sana.
Takosi nyocha konya, takosi mwencha umbona kakatini, manya kuara kabisa, nyakuara kendo nyakuara kendo, animangado pende.
Living in Fear, coming soon only on UBC TV.